North Korea launched more missiles on Monday night, just 2 days after similar launches on Saturday. Now, how will South Korea manage the situation on the Korean Peninsula for the latter half of the year? For more, we're joined by Professor Kim Young-jun this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the latest missile launches. What's behind the North's SRBM's short-range ballistic missiles this time?
Yes, over the decades, North Korea has conducted numerous nuclear and missile tests, mainly for three regions. The first one is a message to foreign countries, including the U.S. and Iraq and Japan, and international community. And second region is a message to domestic audience in showing their military capability as a strong leader. Finally, technical test itself. You have to be the technical development by test. At this time, U.S. nuclear submarine is visiting South Korea, and among them, the first region will be a strong region for nuclear missile test of North Korea this time.
Sure. So several motives behind the launches, giving a warning to South Korea, the U.S., to consolidating its power and letting North Korean people know about that, and lastly, testing its technology, right?
Yeah.
Then the Yoon Suk Yeol administration, right, has maintained a long, hard-line stance when it comes to North Korea issues. Now, Professor, briefly walk us through the major North Korea policies under the Yoon administration.
Actually, Moon Jae-in administration, we remember, is about all about the Korean Peninsula peace process, peace first, based on power, and peace treaty and peace regime and end of war declaration based on the Panmunjom declaration, inter-Korean relations, and also Singapore summit between Kim Jong-un and Trump. So it is all about the peacemaking process. But on the other hand, the Yoon administration is more like based on strong deterrence and open dialogue at the same time based on the principle. Principle means it's about the human rights or based on liberal democracy. So Yoon Suk Yeol government have some patience and more international cooperation, the one voice, especially with the U.S. government on the North Korean policy.
Sure, if the former Moon Jae-in administration focused on that peacemaking here on the Korean Peninsula, the Yoon administration, the current administration at the moment, is focusing on strong deterrence while leaving the door open for dialogue, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Then the minister nominee for South Korea's Unification Ministry, that is Kim Young-ho, he said last week that he'll prioritize, quote, substantive results over dialogue in dealing with North Korea. Now, what do you think he means by that? I mean, how do you read such a remark?
Yeah, new unification minister candidate, the Professor Kim Young-jun statement is the same as the president's message about North Korea policy. Unification policy should be based on principle like human rights and unification based on the liberal democracy system and also strong deterrence with the U.S. government. So without dialogue, there will be no one-side support, especially to North Korea. So this kind of message is showing very strong deterrence and the one unification measure. So North Korea is similar to the Lee Myung-bak government and Park Geun-hye government as well.
Sure. Then is that in line with what President said about ministry no longer acting like a support agency for the North? Is that also in line with that?
Yes, that Yoon Suk Yeol emphasizes the kind of statement. The Unification Department role should be changed, not just the supporting North Korea humanitarian or that kind of support, but at the same time, Unification Department have to control this overall picture, more bigger picture to the North Korea with the patient, not just the administration work for the North Korea, including Gyeongang Mountain or Kaesong Industrial Complex. So at this time, there is no strong inter-Korean relations. So Unification Department role is design more bigger picture and the design policy based on the strong deterrence also principle like human rights.
Sure, keeping hardline stands in various aspects. Now, do you think then there'll be a change or shift in the current policies on North Korea? I mean, what is needed to bring the North back to dialogue like Seoul once?
Yeah, there'll be some difficulty, especially in this situation under the U.S.-China strategic competition and Taiwan issue as well. So the Republic of Korea government need to take some patience and based on strong deterrence, because North Korea anyway conducted many missile tests without any participation to the negotiation table. So now Republic government position is based on strong deterrence and policy based on the principle. But at the same time, open any dialogue like the audacious initiative emphasized. So they open the dialogue, but at the same time, they want to keep a strong deterrence point, especially with the U.S. government as a one voice against North Korea.
Sure, that indeed requires lots of patience, right? Keeping that hardline stance, a strong deterrence on the North while leaving the door open for negotiating talks. Now, another significant difference from the previous administration in terms of North Korea policies, more emphasis on that trilateral cooperation, right, between South Korea, the U.S., and Japan. Why does such trilateral cooperation matter? I mean, how can the three-way cooperation work to tame North Korea at the same time deal with North Korean issues wisely?
Yeah, trilateral security partnership is the first audience is definitely North Korea nuclear missile threat. But at the same time, as a global pivot state, South Korea have to join as a global picture, especially Russia-Ukraine and U.S.-China strategic competition. Now it's a rise of Chinese military and economic power is one of the region in strategic instability in this region. So it does not mean we want to fight against China, but at the same time, we want to keep a new balance of power by strengthening U.S., ROC, Japan, trilateral partnership. So it has some controversy, but at the same time, it's needed, especially against North Korean nuclear threat, also the rise of Chinese military and economic power. So trilateral security partnership is possible at the same time with the open dialogue with North Korea. So we have to keep and develop this posture, but at the same time, we always emphasize on the opening dialogue to North Korea for any negotiation table.
Sure, the trilateral cooperation is only expected to be stronger with the three leaders set to meet at next month, upon the invitation by U.S. President Joe Biden, where we should expect another one collective security voice, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from D.C. this morning. You have a good night.
Thank you very much for having me.